All right, friends, it's that time for your marriage projects. You actually have to build a budget. Now, the way that you're going to build a budget is more from scratch. You're not going to use too many fancy tools other than Excel, which is, I guess it's kind of fancy, but not that fancy. But before we dive into how to build this budget and what is required of you, I want you to take a look at Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps. I'm going to walk you through them really, really quick. The reason I'm showing you this is because this will help you prioritize what you want to spend your money on and what you don't want to spend your money on in your budget and how to save money and all of that. Now, for the sake of your assignment, I think this is important, but also for the sake of life, I feel like this is really important because of gaining access to this stuff a little bit before Katie and I got married when we were at I don't know, the green age of 22. I think that this is why we were able to, I don't know, live below our means, even when she was like a part-time barista and I was working in landscaping and not in management and landscaping, just mowing lawns and stuff. And between the two of us, we were still every month able to make all of our payments and actually save money on those two very small salaries. So if that's the case, then I know that like these things have some merit. I want to walk you through them really quick. If you click this link, it'll take you here, which just is like a quick walkthrough of his baby steps. And I'm gonna like walk you through the logic of each of these things, just so that you know. Because I know you can, like, if you Google him and he can explain it way better, but you might be watching a 45-minute video, so I'm going to give you the Reader's Digest version. So the first thing in your baby step before you start working on debt or anything is get $1,000 saved. I don't know if you've ever noticed that when you start working towards a goal, immediately something wrong happens that messes up that goal. So that $1,000 in the emergency fund is kind of, he calls it Murphy repellent, because Murphy's law is anything that can go wrong will, or something like that. So that having that $1,000 in the bank is kind of like a way of saying, cool, if the tires on my car do pop, I have money there so I can continue with my plan. So save $1,000 first. After that, you do this thing called the debt snowball. You pay off everything except for your home. That is if you have a mortgage. If you're renting, then that's off the table. So pay off all debt, meaning the way that he does the debt snowball is you start with your smallest debt first, and then you make minimum payments on everything else. So you just attack that smallest debt with all of your aggression to make sure you get out of debt in that smallest one. And the reason you start with the smallest one is because it's really quick to pay off, which gives you some momentum. And all of that energy that you were putting into that small loan or that small piece of debt, you can now roll that into the next debt that you pay off. And once you get that paid off, you get why it's called a snowball. It's like when you watch the old cartoons, like an avalanche that gets started from like a little tiny pebble. So you start with the little one, and then by the end, you have all this momentum from paying off all of your other debts that those big ones aren't so daunting anymore. So that means, yeah, paying off any credit card debt that you may have incurred, paying off student loans, paying off any other type of debt that you might have gotten on. Once you are out of debt, except for the house, first of all, like this is something that a lot of Americans don't think is possible, but it is very possible, and it's very freeing when you live in this space. Once you've paid off all of that debt, you then move into building a real emergency fund. A real emergency fund is 3 to 6 months of expenses, which, like, let's say you spend $4,000 a month to live, to eat, and drive and have a house, then that means 3 to 6 months is, let's do some quick math, 4 times 3, so that's $12,000, $12,000 to $24,000 in the bank. Now, from this point, it might seem like, holy cow, how do you like save that much? But if you've paid off all of your debts, you probably have a little bit of momentum, and all of that money that you were dumping into paying off your debts, start dumping that money into your emergency fund. Now, like before we even get into this, like some of this might require, like, I think that financial success, like part of it is having the know-how to like move money around and make money. But for, I guess, the average working citizen who doesn't have a small loan of $1 million to get started, I think that what financial success is about behavioral modification. So if you're like, I couldn't possibly save that much, but you eat sushi twice a week and you get a Starbucks drink every day, some behaviors need to shift if you're going to like actually implement this thing. So 3 to 6 months, the reason this is important is think about it. If you lose your job, it's not as scary when you have $24,000 in the bank because you know you have time to find other work because you have an emergency fund saved. Or if some crazy medical emergency occurs or something, you have that money in the bank. After you have that fully funded emergency fund, then you start dumping your money into retirement. Dave Ramsey recommends 15%. Some employers match, some don't. But taking 15% of your money, putting in a retirement, which is kind of like a savings account, but it's a savings account that you can't touch till you hit your retirement age. Now, there's different ways. There's like Roth and traditional, but we won't get into that in this class. But you can either put it in retirement before taxes or after taxes, and that affects how when you pull it out. But if you've been in Mr. Hoy's class, his financial class, then you know putting money in now means having lots of money later. So do that. After that, after your retirement, save for your kids' college fund. The reason it's after is because, sad statistic, not to be a downer here, but about half of the kids who start college don't finish. And not even all kids go to college. So if that's the case, like this is why retirement comes first, because no matter what, you either will retire or die. And so that money will become available to your family if you die or available to you when you retire someday. Whereas college fund, like you might be putting away money for something that your kids won't do or utilize or complete. So make sure that you invest in your retirement first and then invest in your children's college fund. After that, then you start paying off your home and put all that extra money and energy into your home. And then last is if you've paid off the home, if you've done all of these things and you have all of this excess money, then be generous, be nice, give. Now, I would recommend like developing a habit of giving before this step, but especially once you hit this step, like imagine how much of an impact you can make at Denny's if you go out with your friends and give your waiter or waitress $100 tip, right? Like there's little fun things that you can do with that excess wealth that really brightens people's day. You can contribute to homeless organizations. You can do so much stuff with that excess money. So those are the baby steps. Now, with that under your belt, I'm going to walk you through taking that knowledge and implementing it into how to build a budget. So the budget rubric is here in this assignment. It basically says you need to complete and have all of the elements that are on the template that I'm about to show you. So we don't really need to go through the rubric because if you just follow this video, then you're going to be fine. This is my iPad. The way that I got this budget template is if you click on this link right here, the budget template, it will download it. In your iPad, like all you have to do is if you hit budget template, it'll open it, but you can't edit it here in Canvas. So you need to hit the share button in the bottom left of that. And then send it to Excel. Now, if yours is like mine, then you need to hit the More button in order to get other options of programs to send it to, and copy to Excel is what you're going to want to do. Once you get to Excel, it won't be editable. You'll have to save a copy to your iPad to be able to edit it, and while you're at it, rename it because that way you can find it. So in Excel, if you don't have Excel, this means that you haven't taken advantage of our school's Office 365 subscription. You can download it for free if you log into your Microsoft portal. So just do that, bro or girl. Get Excel. If you haven't gotten Excel yet, go do it now. Pause and go get Excel. Okay, continuing. So what I've done is I've given you a lot of the basics of a budget where you just need to fill in the blanks. I've even done some of the formulas for you. I would love to show you how to actually do these formulas, but we're short on time and far from each other. So here's how we're going to do it. You'll notice that in Excel, you have, when you select a cell, whatever's in that cell will appear in this box right here. When I select this cell, which is gross income is a way of saying like how much money you make before any money is taken out. Your gross income, in there's a little formula, equals C6 plus C5. Your gross income this is C5 and this is C6. So if we put money in here, C5 plus C6 equals that many dollars. Since I have a zero in both of those, that's why it looks like that. So let's say I have a job and my spouse has a job. The first budget you're doing is a DINK budget, which is a dual income, no kids budget. So let's say I have a job, and my job is going to be, let's say I'm a teacher. We're going to go to salary.com. I got a link here for you. Salary.com. And then on salary.com, you can search under individuals, what am I worth? Teacher. Wherever you want to teach, let's say I'm a teacher in Rancho Cucamonga. Get salary estimates. And what it'll do is it'll give you a salary estimate for each of these types of positions. Let's say I'm a kindergarten teacher. And as a kindergarten teacher, you can hit view salary. And then, yes, I get it. The site uses cookies. And it'll give you one of these handy little graphs. Depending on where you are deciding for your narrative, you get married, this is going to adjust what you're getting paid. If you are brand new to the workforce, you're going to be on the lower side of this. If you have been in it a while, you'll probably be near the median. If you're somehow some expert that everybody wants to know all your kindergarten tricks and you've gotten extra stipends because you're a STEM teacher, then you're going to move up this past the bell curve. So let's just say I've been in it for a while and I'm getting $58,000 for being a teacher. Now, you'll notice that this is 58,000. This is a monthly budget. Am I making $58,000 a month? I'm not making that much a month. That's way too much money. I'm making that much a year. So how do I change an annual income into a monthly income? Basic math skills. How many months are there in a year? There are 12. And the little slash is how you do divided, and then this is 12. Now, the thing about Excel is that it will just assume that you're writing numbers into a box unless you tell it that you're doing an equation. So if we want to tell Excel that we're doing an equation, what we have to do is at the beginning of this, we have to put an equals sign. That lets Excel know, hey, we're doing math here. And so that will, when you put the equal sign on the front of the formula, it will say, okay, cool, I know that I'm going to do some math and I'm going to take 58,000 and divide it by 12. So when you hit return, it'll do that math for you. And you'll notice now in the box it says 4,833 a month. And you'll notice that my gross income automatically changed. Let's say, oh, I need to put my job description in here. I'm a kindergarten teacher. And let's say my spouse is, what is my spouse? What's Mrs. Seals going to be doing? Let's say that she is an Uber driver. She's a professional Uber driver because, you know, that fits her personality. She's a professional Uber driver. So let's see if we got Uber driver here on salary.com. Go back to the search function. And we're going to say Uber driver in the same area. Let's see, Uber driver. There's a salary for it. Let's view this estimate of what an Uber driver is going to make. I know that this video is a little slow, but it's because I'm wanting to do this live with you. Cool. So the median income for an Uber driver that does that full time is $35,000. So let's say she's good at getting people to and from LAX, got great reviews, and she's got a good driving record. So she's making $35,000. So $35,000 a year. And since it's annual, again, we want to divide it by 12. And to make sure that Excel knows we're doing math. We're going to add an equal sign. And so she's making $2,916 a month. So you'll notice that here we have her salary, my salary plus her salary equals this. That's the gross income. Now, below it, we have net income, which is down here. Net income means our income minus taxes. Now, if we want to be technical, it's also minus medical insurance and things that come out of your paycheck. And like you can get other things taken out of your paycheck, but for the sake of simplicity, each job place is going to be totally different. So I'm not requiring that. I just want you to know how much it costs, how much you have to give to the government, and how much you get to keep for yourself. So let's do taxes. Now, you're not going to do taxes. You're just going to get estimates and use tax calculator. So we're going to use this tool put out by Smart Asset. So smartasset.com has this free federal income tax calculator. What you're going to do here is you're going to put your household income, and this one is measured in annual. So we need 58,000 plus 35,000, which is 93,000. So let's say we have 93,000 combined household income. Right? If that's our household income, we're in Rancho Cucamonga. Our filing status is married. Then it tells you how much is going to get taken out total from federal. Now, what's nice about this program, other than the way that it's formatted because of the way my window is, why are you doing that? Oh, well. There it is. Okay, cool. Is that it'll give you an income tax breakdown. It'll tell you how much federal taxes you're paying. It'll tell you how much FICA you're paying, which is Social Security plus Medicare. It'll tell you how much state tax you're paying. It calculates state of California's taxes, $22,706. So what you're going to do, this is your annual contribution to taxes. What you are going to do is you're going to put those figures in here. So your federal taxes are $7,844. This is annual. So what are we going to do again? We're going to tell, we're going to say, hey, we're doing a calculation here, and do 7,844 divided by 12. And that's how much we're paying monthly in federal taxes. And then we take the state taxes, which is the $2,700, so equals 2,706 divided by 12. That's how much you're paying in state taxes. And then we will say the FICA is 7,115. So again, equals 7,115 divided by 12. And boom. Right? Yes. Cool. So this is how much you're paying each month. So your monthly income is 7,750 gross, but then your net income is 6,277. So this helps you with those calculations to let you know how much money you actually have to spend. Once you have done that, you are going to look through the expenses list that I have here, and then put in how much all of these things cost. Now, with the exception of a few things, I would say the best resource for all of this would be the people that you live with, because they can tell you, here's how much money I spend on things. So things like car fuel, there's a gas bill. Gas is different than car fuel. It's the thing in your house that allows your hot water heater to run, your stove, your oven, those types of things, that type of gas bill. Retirement. If you want to do the Dave Ramsey plan, you want to take 15% of your income and put it into retirement. So let's just do that. Let's say I want to put 15% of, we'll do my net income because I want to be cheap. The way that we would do this is, this is my net income, right? And I want to take that and divide it, or like take 15% of that and count that as an expense. So like we did before, we're going to use the equal sign to tell it we're doing a formula. But this time, instead of just putting numbers in, I'm going to select I'm going to select that cell, C11, just so that the calculator knows, hey, I'm taking whatever's in this cell and I'm going to do math with it. and I'm going to divide that, or not divide that, I'm going to multiply that by 0.15, which is 15%. And then it will do the math for me and say, cool, I'm spending $941 a month to put towards my retirement. Electric bills, groceries, eating out. If you like to go to Chili's, I don't know why you would like to go to Chili's, but if you like going to Chili's on the regular, then you're going to spend money there. Do you buy clothes, or do you go to Goodwill, or do you just wait for your birthday to roll around? I know that it seems weird to have gifts as a category, but the more time I spend in adult life, the more I realize that every month someone is getting married, having a baby, having a sweet 16, or graduating, right? Like one of those things is always happening. And so I've realized that I needed to budget for, okay, how much do I spend on people like when they have these types of events? Mortgage. This is the one that we're going to calculate together. Your water bill, how much does that cost on per usual? Your car insurance, medical insurance, life insurance. The difference between medical and life insurance: medical insurance is something that allows you to go to the doctor and not have to pay all the flat rates that the doctors are going to charge. Life insurance is, if you die, they will pay your spouse a certain amount of money. And if before any of you get crazy ideas, they know if you are, like, if you're planning on getting life insurance and killing your spouse, that disqualifies them. So you can't do that. So medical insurance is oftentimes covered partially by your employer. If you guys are saying, for your scenario, you're an independent business owner, you're the leader of a law firm, any of these types of things where you're the top or owner of the company, your medical insurance, you're probably paying for it yourself. So you might need to do some research and figure out how much that costs. If you're working for like a government agency, oftentimes your medical insurance is largely covered and you pay a premium of like maybe $100 a month or something like that. So you're either paying for it all up front or seeing if your employer covers it, but you need to do the research to see if that's something that happens. So if I'm a kindergarten teacher, my insurance is probably covered for me and my spouse. I just probably have to pay a premium of something. So let's just throw out when I was working for the government, I was paying like $250 a month for my family. So we'll put that in for medical insurance. Life insurance, if you're young, life insurance is cheap because they don't think you're going to die. Insurance, if you think about it, is you betting against yourself. So the higher the likelihood that you will die, get in a car crash, or have some sort of surgery, then the higher cost you're going to pay for that insurance, right? The lower the cost, the lower the risk. So it's kind of like going to Las Vegas with your life. For if you're in your 20s or your 30s, you can get an insurance policy, a life insurance policy for like $100,000, maybe up to $500,000 for like $50 a month. So depending on the provider, blah, 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 do your research, but I'm going to put it like that. Miscellaneous needs is all of the other stuff that you're not considering. And I found that life throws at me at least $150 of expenses randomly a month. Student loans, you're going to calculate that on your own. Phones and Wi-Fi, you can talk to the people you live with. So let's do the things that I said we need that you aren't going to do with your family or whoever it is that you live with. The first thing is the mortgage. So in the links, I have a link to Zillow. With Zillow, you can do a little bit of home shopping. So let's say, apparently someone wanted to live in Louisville, Kentucky last time I was here. Let's say that I want to live in good old Rancho Cucamonga, California. The center of urban life. If that's the case, we get to choose. Are we living above the 210? All of my homies up there above the 210, you know that life is a little bit more expensive up there, like $4 million, $1.95 million, $1.23 million. You want to live above baseline, we're getting more in like the $500,000 range. If you want to live in my neck of the woods, I think I can zoom here. My neck of the woods is below Foothill. We get some more more economical prices. Even just looking at this map, you can see the further north in Rancho you move, the more expensive. Unless you buy, what is this? Oh, it's just a huge plot of land. Perfect. So let's say I want to live mid-range with my kindergarten salary, and I want to live just below the 210 so I can get on the freeway and go to church if I need to. So I don't know. Over here looks nice. A nice 2-story home. It's $569,000. Now, if you're wondering, how do you save $569,000? Usually, if you want a traditional loan, what you're going to have to do is put down 20%. You pay 20% up front. So 20% of 569. Here, let's do it together, shall we? Where's my calculator? Oh, there it is. So 569,000 times 0.2 equals. You need to save $113,000 and pay that up front. And then the rest of it gets financed. And then what's nice is Zillow will give you an estimated payment, and it'll tell you like how much that's going to cost for you to pay for this. Oh, by the way, there's also fun facts about this property. Man, if I was in real estate, I should sell this. Somewhere in here, it gives you the, okay, here's the estimated monthly cost. Is $2,712 a month because this is your mortgage payment. The property taxes are an extra $400 a month. Your home insurance is probably going to be, they say $199 a month. That kind of seems overpriced to me. Because I think I pay like just over $100 a month with Mercury insurance. So if that's the case, that's how much it's costing you to live here. And this is assuming that you paid 20% down. You'll notice that your down payment was $113,000, like I said, and you're doing a 30-year fixed at the current interest rate. So they do a lot of that math for you to let you know. Now, if you're in a career where it's unlikely that you've saved $113,000, you could also on Zillow look for rentals instead of purchase prices, but talk with your partner to see how much life is going to cost you. So we'll say that mine cost, I'm going to buy this one. And I can even take out that home insurance, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to lump home insurance and property taxes and my mortgage all into one. So when I go back to my budget, I'm actually going to just go ahead and delete, where's my, oh, there's no home insurance on here, is there? Because it's lumped in my mortgage. Perfectly. Okay. So I know that my mortgage is going to cost me $2,712. 2712. Now, you'll notice that as I put things in, down here under the total, I already have something, a formula calculated where it takes the sum of anything that you put in any of these cells right here. So as you put things in, you'll notice that it will add to that total. Let's do one last thing together, which is student loans. If you plan to go to college, then at this point, you should have a decent idea of how much money you're probably going to get from a college. If not, you're going to play the guessing game. So let's say you are going to a college that's $40,000 a year. And let's say they scholarship you half of that. And just let's also say that you have parents that either saved or have means to pay half of that half. So let's say you're taking out $10,000 a year, $10,000 a year in loans times 4 years. Let's say if you actually stay on track and graduate in 4 years, is $40,000. That's your loan amount. And say you want to pay it off in 5 years. What's the current interest rates? That seems super high. Sorry, I'm just not believing this website. Student loan interest rates. 6 just seems really high, doesn't it, guys? Let's go past these ads and go to student loan interest rates. Federal student loan interest rate for undergraduates is 4.53% for this school year. So let's go back to our student loan calculator and say that our loan interest rate is 4.5%, because who knows calculate that thing is, and then calculate. So this means I'm going to pay $7,745 a month over the course of 60 months. So let's say student loans, I'm paying 745, 72. Boom. So that goes in there. And you notice that as I put these things in, the total of my expenses rapidly approaches my total net income. So if you find that after you put these things in, that you don't have money afterwards, you might need to adjust your living costs, like maybe live in a smaller house or something else, or maybe put less in retirement. Depends. I don't know how you want to do your life. But the easy way to check, oh, sorry, you're not even seeing it. The easy way to check if you're in the black or in the red, if you're positive or negative, is up here. I have a separate box called savings, which automatically calculates how much money you have left over after your expenses are removed from your income. Now, one other special category that I have over here, because I wanted to make sure it didn't get deleted, I'm going to require you to set aside money for giving. I think that what I've learned is that when you are just getting started, setting aside a certain percentage of your income to either give to a church, give to charity, give to other people, like out of the goodness of your heart, it's way easier when you start making $15 an hour than to wait to start giving when you're making six figures, because then it hurts a lot more and you haven't developed that giving habit. So giving, right here, I have the default formula to be 10% of your income you're planning on giving away. Now, if you're like, I don't want to do that, you can change this formula to like 0.05 if you want to do 5% or something. You can change that formula. But I want you to get in the habit of, even if it's just in your fictional life, of setting aside money to give to people. So the rest of this, you can go through with the people you live with and be like, okay, cool. How much does life cost for all of these things? And then put in those amounts. The last thing that you need to do is make sure that you show me that you didn't just make these numbers up. So that's why there are a bunch of cells under where it says explanation and citations. So in these cells, you can do things like taxes from smartasset.com. You can say salaries from salary.com. You can say, you go through these different things and say, okay, mortgage from Zillow.com. You can say fuel from, not feel, for some reason it doesn't want to let me edit things, fuel from mommy. So whatever it is, you have these, you're going to put all of those explanations of where you got these figures from. And that's how you do your budget. You go through each of these things and make sure it's filled out. I'll take questions from you. Now, before moving on, the last thing that you need to know is that in the bottom left-hand corner, there are two different types of budgets. There's a DINK budget and a married with kids budget. The married with kids budget is almost identical to the other budget. All the same formulas, same way that everything works. The one thing that you'll notice is that there's an extra category here called childcare. You need to figure out, if both of you are still working, you need to incorporate who's taking care of your kid and raising your kid for you. And you can do some research and like look up how much childcare costs for full-time parents. Now, depending on your, like if you, you're going to do your married with kids budget where one of the kids is not in school at least. So that way you can see, okay, how do you live those 4 years of life before both of you can go back to work at regular full-time jobs? So I want you to calculate that math and figure that out. So either one of your spouses either goes to part-time or loses their income totally, or you incorporate childcare into your explanation for your budget. You'll also notice that all of your numbers for the rest of the budget shouldn't be the same. because electricity consumption will probably go up because you have new things plugged into your house. Your medical insurance will probably go up. Maybe your student loans will disappear, which is nice, but your groceries will go up. So you're going to go through each of those categories. This is where I think it would be really good to talk to a homestay or a parent or an auntie or an uncle or someone who's lived life and has had kids and be like, hey, what things increased in cost? This is how much I spent on my DINK budget. Show them. How much will these expenses increase with kids based on their assumption? And then put those explanations here. Who did you talk to? Who did you not talk to? Where did you get that info from? So with all of that, I know that that was kind of long, but if you were following along, hopefully that helps you know how to do the budget portion of your assignment and give you a little bit of insight into how grown-up money spending life works. Good luck, my friends. Oh, wait, before we finish, sorry. When you are finished here with your budget, the website service that we use does not like Excel spreadsheets. They won't open them up. So what you're going to do is you're going to screenshot your Excel spreadsheet and then place it as an image. So screenshot your dual income and screenshot your married with kids budget and then put that into a post. You'll see if you went through some of those, sample marriage projects, then sample. Where's the sample marriage projects? Oh, there you are. Sample marriage projects. If you went through one of these, then you'll notice that that's exactly what they did. On these websites, they put their explanations here. Instead of putting their explanations in the budget, they wrote out their explanations on the blog and then like put in just a screenshot of their budget to show that they did the work. So make sure that you do that. Now for reals, we're done. Have a wonderful day, everyone.